Very few people could have predicted what Arne Slot would do with this Liverpool team.
Van Dijk, who helps it on for Salah, and Liverpool all of a sudden have players up in support. There is a challenge on Salah, but it should be a chance for Darwin Nunez. It's a goal for Darwin Nunez.
He's not just got on playing beautiful football. Liverpool are actually genuine contenders for the Premier League. Arne Slot has them playing as title contenders, and it's all because of how he's transformed the team. The 2023-24 season was a mixed bag for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's departure wasn't the only thing to be sad about. No one has spent more days at the top of the table than Liverpool, and with less than 10 games to the end of the season, Liverpool was in pole position at the top and guaranteed to win the league should they have won all their games. Their final league standing, they finished third. It's a new era at the club now. Arne Slot ball, we're relatively past the early days, and so far, Slot ball looks genuine. Liverpool has become a free-flowing team, capable of adapting to different situations in game. Arne Slot has them playing a brand of football that isn't just attractive, but it's actually delivering. They're winning games and getting the best out of situations as well. Last season, a big reason why Liverpool failed to win the league was due to their form against the traditional top 6 teams. Out of the 10 games they played against the traditional big 6 teams, they won 2, drew 6 and lost 2. We've already seen 3 games under Arne Slot so far against the traditional big 6, and there have been marked improvements. The first proper test of the season was against Manchester United, a game Liverpool dominated from start to finish. Goals from Luis Diaz, Diaz again, and Mohamed Salah sealed a 3-0 win. And that's because just watching the game unfold, they opted for control. The scoreline could have been more if they wanted to. There are even more reasons why Liverpool has become title contenders. It's all in the video, but before we continue, hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. What's interesting about this result is that when Liverpool came to Old Trafford the season before under Klopp, it was almost the same. The difference was the result. Liverpool dominated the game and created chances, but they failed to make the most of them. Ultimately, they ended up drawing 2-2 and needed a Mohamed Salah penalty late on to rescue the match, or else it could have ended in a defeat. This time, however, Liverpool controlled the match almost all game. The 3-0 scoreline even flattered them. It could have been 6 or 7 easily. Against Chelsea, the 2-1 win was a mix of what to expect from Arne Slot.
I think many of our games were hard, but this one might have been the hardest maybe because of the amount of quality players they have and also the structure they play in.
And it's a good thing. He rightfully admitted that they didn't dominate the game as they would have liked, and that's because Chelsea looked the stronger in terms of the two. But in the end, they came out with a result, which wasn't always the case last season. It became a worrying trend for Liverpool to dominate games and either fail to find the cutting edge needed to win, or be able to hang on to the result. Against Chelsea, it demonstrated that they are capable of grinding out those kind of results. The type champions do. The ones where even when they ain't at their best, they can still perform and see out the game. Against Arsenal at the Emirates, Liverpool showed they can bounce back from tough situations. Despite it being a slightly weak Arsenal side and Liverpool also missing a few key players, it was an open game, and as minutes passed, it looked for large parts like Arsenal would be able to see out the result. They kept going despite being behind, and in the end, Salah's goal, as we've seen there, earned a draw against a tough opponent. The other part to the result is, the games they're expected to win, well, they're winning them. Bar the shock 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest at home, Liverpool have been very good at getting results this season. Wins at tough away games like Molyneux against Wolves or Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace, all by 1-goal margins. Or comfortable wins like the 2-0 victory against Brentford or beating Bournemouth 3-0. They've been very good at collecting results in these type of games. And ultimately, that's what makes league champions, the ability to win despite the odds. When it comes down to the man himself, he's somewhat of a master tactician, and he's helping Liverpool win games. His half-time team talk seemed to be doing the trick. Arne Slot's tactics at Liverpool are like a breath of fresh air. Revolutionary. Now, Liverpool play with balance, something they seem to lack under Jurgen Klopp, and something that could very well make them champions. Arne Slot wants to control the game, rather than just constantly attack it. He wants his team to be able to dominate the opposition from start to finish by snuffling out any chances they attempt to create and pinning them into their half. He wants his team to keep possession of the ball too, and not just have possession for the sake of it, but he also wants them to be able to take advantage of when the opposition slips or makes mistakes with quick passes and neat interplays. Controlled football is translating to results. The game against Chelsea was the only one so far this season where Liverpool was second bested by their opponents. In every other fixture, they've been able to play the way they want to. And I'll tell you why this is a good thing and how it can help them win the league. But first, just in case you missed that earlier reminder, that subscribe button to Matchday 365 is still waiting for you to click it. So, do it. Controlled football for Liverpool could very well win them the league because it's different from the usual Liverpool brand. Credit to Jurgen Klopp for sticking with his attacking football over the years. I mean, it did produce results, but many times last season and in the previous campaign, Liverpool had to come from a goal behind before they actually woke up. Teams knew what to expect. As soon as the game started, Liverpool were going to start attacking from minute 1 to 90, and it became a case of how to beat them. Opponents knew that if they could beat the Liverpool high press and get it behind, there was a very high chance of getting a result, and it ultimately cost them last season. The difference this season, this controlled brand of football means Liverpool are now unpredictable. Don't get me wrong, it's not as if they've sacrificed attacking for possession-based football, but they're doing it at the pace they want. They still attack, but it's with the aim of doing it to still retain the team's shape. So when there's a turnover or they're again on the counter, there's a reduced chance of conceding. The numbers and stats back it up too. Arne Slot's Liverpool team is the first Liverpool side to ever win 12 of their opening 14 games in a campaign. Considering that they've already faced the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, AC Milan, Brighton and RB Leipzig in all competitions, they've only had just that one league defeat to Nottingham Forest. And out of all the games mentioned above, just the one draw to Arsenal. Arne Slot is a hard man. He's not afraid to make hard decisions, and that's an edge that could very well win him the title. Watching Curtis Jones start and play against Arsenal strikes a balance, something that most likely wouldn't have happened under Klopp. See, for everything he was, it felt like Klopp was the type of guy who had a preferred starting 11 and picked that for most matches. And what this meant, in turn, was the form in the team sometimes didn't count. But with Arne Slot, it's different. Curtis Jones was rewarded off the back of his excellent performance against Chelsea with the start at the Emirates versus Arsenal. And that's just one in a list of tough decisions Arne Slot has made at Liverpool so far. For example, on the opening day of the season, only 45 minutes into the first game versus Ipswich Town, and for the second half, Slot had already made a big call. He brought in Ibrahima Konate for Jarell Quansah because Quansah didn't have the best first half displays. And the point here is that Slot isn't afraid to make big calls. We saw another one at the Emirates. Andy Robertson had a below par performance versus Arsenal, got done by Saka for the first goal, and looked nervy all through. Now, with the team losing 2-1 and Robertson being the first choice left back, many would have left him to soldier on the game. But instead, Slot took him out to replace him with Kostas Tsimikas, or him taking out one of the most informed players, Luis Diaz, after a subdued performance at the Emirates, and replacing him as well. If something needs to be done or needs to change, Arne Slot does it. It really is that simple.
It is always nice, but I said it also about the other records. It's records are nice, but there's something else that's more nice than records, and we both know what I mean, I think.
Like he said, records are nice, but trophies are better. In Arne Slot, Liverpool has now got a manager who knows how to win, and his track record proves it. He won the Dutch Eredivisie with Feyenoord, and next in his sight is the Premier League with Liverpool. With the way he started and the way the team is playing, there's every possibility that the Reds could become Premier League champions at the end of May next year. There's still a long way to go in the season, that's the reality. But the early season form so far has set the tone for what to expect from Slot's Liverpool team. The man hasn't just worked his way into getting results, he's also improved players too. Mohamed Salah seems like he's aging backwards with the way he's been playing. He looks fitter and sharper. Luis Diaz might have tailed off a bit, but for large parts this season looks like a player reborn under Slot. Ryan Gravenberch has been the standout revelation of the season so far at Liverpool. They're the meanest defence in the league. Before conceding 2 to Arsenal, they had only conceded 3 goals all season. They're scoring goals too, and is spread across the front three. And they have a relatively large bill of clean health status among the players. Time will tell what this Liverpool team can produce at the end of the season, especially when the tough games start reeling in. But from Premier League terms, it's safe to say now that Liverpool is in the conversation for becoming Premier League champions this season. You wouldn't put it past them to add a second Premier League title real soon. Did you enjoy that? Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. There's new great content on the channel all the time, so be sure to stay tuned and I'll see ya in the next one.